maybe some Majlis Khuddamul MD members, those who are not in Amila, but they have been giving their time and their energy for this very important work. May Allah the Almighty accept His all efforts they have made, because without acceptance of Allah the Almighty, nothing is important, nothing is good, because acceptance of Allah the Almighty is the most important thing for anything, for anybody when he does a good job. May Allah the Almighty be with you. May Allah the Almighty assist you to complete it with success, and may Allah the Almighty help you and give you strength to bring a lot more program like that. Jazakumullahu ahsanal jazaa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mission Judge Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Please, sir, can you go on with the program, sir?
Well, okay. I have a copy. Don't worry, you should. I have one copy here with me. I have printed already. Now the next item is respected Sadr Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya's welcome address. Respected Sadr Sahib for the welcome address. Jazakallah. Respected Sadr Sahib's welcome address.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وعلى أزواجه أجمعين آمين. Respected Amir Sahib, represented by the Mubalik in charge Sahib, respected Movi Adnan Sahib, respected members of the Amila of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, respected members of Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya Nigeria, and the Amila members, and my dear brothers, respected fathers, Amin the Ansarullah, and our mothers, the Lajna Imaila, and all our guests here present, respected Waqar Ahmad Sahib from Center IT UK, and my brothers and sisters, I pray that Allah Ta'ala reward every one of you for joining this event. We thank Almighty Allah for the opportunity to be part of this. As the MIC has said, the importance of coming up with this program, it is for the need of our environment. As we all know that technology has become an important thing in our daily life. It has become an essential tool that we cannot avoid because it plays important parts of majority of our lives. And of course, technology essentially harnesses the tools, the technologies, the strategies used to help us in solving problems and making our life better in some ways. When you look at the advantages, the benefits that we're going to get in acquiring some skills in technology, you will see that this particular event or program must have started long ago. We have a number of competent professionals in the information technology field in the Majlis, and of course, among the members of Ansarullah. But it has become important that we catch our children from the young age, and that's why we look at the members of Atfal. The last stage of Atfal, we are from 13 and being extended to younger Khuddam to age 25. That is, the target is our members, male members of 13 to 25. And then you see that this is a time where a young child determines or decides what he wants to become career-wise. So that is why that particular period is very fragile to determining what one wants to become by Allah's grace in life. So this is why the Majlis Ahmadiyya rose to His Holiness to guide us on how to come up with training, and His Holiness, because our plan was to have a very small engagement with our young male children in the Jamaat, and His Holiness directed us to speak with the IT Center IT UK. After several meetings since January or December last year, His Holiness approved this establishment to exist under Mirza Ghulam Qadi Shahid IT Research Lab and Center. His Holiness is happy with the proposal. His Holiness gave the approval, and he wants this to succeed. That is why His Holiness has given us the support, and of course, he has prayed over this. So I want to sincerely believe that being part of this event, being part of this program, is a blessed one for every home that participates. And we have seen that the global space has been taken over by digital skills. Even if you are not an IT professional fully, even if you study medicine, or you are an engineer, or an accountant, or you are an auditor, there is nowhere or no one that will not need the technology to improve the quality of service the person renders. Be you a professional of anything, even if you are a lawyer. Just some reports that we got during the NSAS protest in Nigeria. A particular high court in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, Igbo was burnt, and it was reported that some files were burnt along during the protest. So I asked a lawyer, what is actually happening? Is it that some of these files were not archived, or don't you archive, or don't you use technology to process some of these files? He mentioned some challenges they've had in the past. So I somewhat believe that even lawyers, they also need technology. Not almost everybody, even a organizer will need technology to project his service. So that's to tell us that the need for technology, especially from childhood, would expose our children to exploring various career paths within the digital world. And of course, we've seen that many Nigerians today are exposed to and explore digital world through various channels. It was reported by NCC, Nigerian Communication Commission, in 2020 that about 85 Nigerian children between ages 11 and 16 in urban centers browse the internet or chat on social media daily. 35% of them play online games. 62% of them watch videos online, while 57% of them use internet for schoolwork daily. You will now see that if they use internet as much as this, it's important that they use it very properly. So by the time they use it properly, it's about channeling them to the right one. And more to this, we've seen that in the world today, especially in our communities, in Nigeria specifically, we've seen a number of younger ones engaging in cybercrime. Even though it is Allah that gives spirit of righteousness to people, but we should make efforts for anything humanly possible to ensure that we guide our children to the right path, while we also pray. Our prayer will not only suffice if you are not making necessary efforts. As a Khalifatul Masih Ada'ullahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Asis said during our mulaqat on January 2nd, 2022, that Majlis Ahmadiyya Nigeria should go and work hard. And one of the ways through which we can work hard is to ensure that while we pray, while His Holiness prays for us, we make humanly efforts, and the blessings of Allah, the blessings of Khilafat, would also manifest in our lives. That is why this particular program has become very important. And the goal is very simple. The goal of this project is to create opportunities for economic sustainability and tabligh through information technology for members of Atfal and young Khuddam from the age when they have to build a career for themselves, which means that even if you are computer savvy and you have the necessary knowledge, you can apply to whatever profession you want to become in life. We've seen, like respected MIC said, that the MTA today, if it is not for technology, we will not be where we are today. And then it is technology that is used to propagate the message of the promised Messiah alayhi salam. And one of the efforts which you can make is to ensure that a project like this is started and we pray that Almighty Allah will make it flourish even beyond us, inshallah. And of course, the objectives of this particular program is to build capacity for members of the Jamaat and even non-members alike in order to reduce unemployment and poverty. You will see that if you are well equipped in computing, if you are well trained with right technology, you can be self-reliant. You may not be looking for white-collar job. You can be self-reliant even at a time you probably have a particular profession, but because you have already been skilled with necessary technology, especially with coding or software development, it will help you to be self-reliant. You may choose to look for white-collar job. You may choose to be self-reliant. You may choose to stay on your own. So this has been proven many times by many professionals. And of course, other objective is to increase the number of software developers in the Jamaat and the country at large. Specifically, the MTA is also planning to have a studio in Nigeria, and we pray that it materializes very soon. Let's now imagine they need more volunteers for the MTA in Nigeria. Where do we look out for those needs that come from technology? It has to come from within. And of course, when you look at some other opportunities that we have, the Ahmadiyya International University is also there. If the MIU has a particular technology center where they are training people in the ICT center, this thing has to be manned by our members. You don't have to go to Redeem. You're going to have to go to MFM to go and rent people to teach in our MIU. We have to build capacity humanly within ourselves. And of course, it is to positively engage the young ones to reduce idleness that breeds criminal tendency. It is when you don't have what to do that you start thinking about criminality, engagement, and what have you. And lastly, is to further establish an avenue for them on how they will be instruments for Tabligh, using their knowledge to enhance various departments of the Jamaat. And let me say that as Muslims, as followers of the promised Messiah alayhi salam, as the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we must believe that whatever we have in life, we must believe that we are to use it to serve Allah. There is no benefit in knowledge, in strength that a man has if he doesn't make use of it to benefit mankind. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Khayrun nasi man yanfa'u nasa." The best of man is he who is beneficial to mankind. So in that note, we are breeding these younger ones to ensure that by the time they become men of their own, they will also train some others that are coming up, and it will now be a multiplier effect in our society through which we will achieve a lot. We pray to Almighty Allah that He will bless this event for us. And let me also note quickly that it's important that we look at the financial commitment of this particular program, and then we wrote to His Holiness with a lot of big budgets, but His Holiness has admitted and approved for us, right, that when the program comes, we are approved to collect token from any participant, and then that token we collect will only be catered for. We only cater for their feeding only, but of course the parent will be the one to transport them to Ojokoro. In actual fact, this event was actually proposed to be an hybrid, whereby we have some that will be present physically in Lagos and some joining virtually. Some questions that may arise, part of them may be, how do children coming from afar join this the program? It is that we propose to His Holiness that the program should be an hybrid, but His Holiness directed that we should do it as in person, and it has to be in Khuddamul land in Ojokoro. If not, it will have been an hybrid, and then we have to follow the His Holiness directive to the letter. And of course, part of what is approved for us is that we can have at least one virtual session in this particular Ramadan before we start fully in May. So that is why this orientation is important. After this event, what will come up is to send out a communication about the registration of interested children, and of course, what will follow is screening of those children, then we now have at least one virtual session in the month of Ramadan before we now move to in-person session in the month of May and going forward. And let me say that the program will be a kind of weekend program, probably 2 weekends every month. So it is important that we plan ourselves. Of course, we roll out the program plans, the timetable will be rolled out so that parents who wish to enroll their children will plan very well for their children. Let us not look at the challenges around it, especially for transporting our children here. Let us just hold it that is a blessed scheme for it to have been approved by His Holiness, for Him to have prayed for us on this matter. We want to sincerely believe that for the blessing of Khilafah into this program, we will achieve a lot with your support, with your commitment. And lastly, we will not shy away from getting support, financial support from our members, because Uzur Akhdas has directed that we should go and look for funds to support this program. And it is important that we, many of us, take part of this particular blessed scheme established by His Holiness. Let me stop here, and I pray that Almighty Allah will reward every one of us for joining this session. May Almighty Allah bless you all. And I say, Jazakumullah khairan for joining us. May Almighty Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah ahsan jaza, respected Sadasa Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya. May Allah the Almighty accept your efforts. Our next item is topic. There is a speech which is exploring the field of information technology, benefits and challenges. This is going to be by presentation is by Mr. Ademi Yusuf Sahib, and the time for speech is 30 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
Can the admin allow me to share my screen, please?
Please, the host should allow him to share the screen of his speech, of his lecture.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Before that, we would love to read out the profile of our lecturer so that members can get to know him before he starts speaking. Salam. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Here is a brief of our lecturer, Mr. Yusuf Adeyemi. Yusuf is an astute tech leader in software engineering space. He holds BSc and MSc degrees in computer science. He has over 15 years of work experience as a software engineer. He is currently a software engineering manager at Demois Cloud, a South Africa company. His role at Demois is to provide leadership for other software engineers, keep them focused, support them to grow, and stay happy at work. He is also the founder of Code Learners Hub, where strong software engineers are being built. He's also the founder of Uscomsoft, now Beams, a technology company that had served many businesses locally and internationally. To mention a few, he works with numerous programming languages that include Java, Golang, Python, C++, Kotlin, JS, and PHP. He builds cloud-native applications that live in Kubernetes, GCP, Azure, and AWS. This is an abridged version of what I would have loved to read about Mr. Yusuf Adeyemi, but for this, to save our time, we are presenting to you Mr. Yusuf Adeyemi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. I'm still waiting for the admin to allow me to share my screen. If that
Okay, you made a co-host now.
Okay.
Brother Ikotun, please make him a co-host immediately, please.
While I try to get the access to share my screen, I want to tender apology for making certain changes to the topic. It was a mistake I made unintentionally, but eventually I found it to be beneficiary. I narrowed the topic to software engineering rather than cover the entire IT. But I was happy to hear the MIC Sahib and the Sada Sahib. I've already given a lot of information and knowledge about IT generally, and it will just be proper for me not to repeat what they've said and just go straight into my own area, which is software engineering, and we can discuss IT from this angle. Okay.
You're now made a co-host, sir. You can share it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so if my apology is tender, if my apology is accepted, I've actually narrowed the topic to discuss benefits and challenges of software engineering. This is actually one of the field of IT. And to be very sincere, it's one of the most preferred area of IT that we need to look at closely. IT, you all know, is very broad, and we can't spend a whole day discussing IT. So we want to look at the most interesting aspect of IT, the most challenging one, and one that would allow us quickly achieve the goal of the organizer of this program. So my brief of me have been read, and my humble self will be, trying to get. Oh, sorry, it appears okay. Okay, let me share my screen. It appears okay, so let's discuss what software engineering is. And in the definition of some people who have coined some simple definitions, so to say, about software engineering, it's said to be a systematic, disciplined, quantifiable study and an approach to the design, development, operation, maintenance of software system. Let me just quickly remind us of what a software is. Software is a program or set of programs containing instructions that provide desired functionality. And engineering is the process of designing, building something that serves a particular purpose, finds a cost-effective solution to problems. Many of us will be wondering, have I ever interacted with software? In many cases, you have interacted with software, either ones you use on your personal computers, the ones that control your automated, your so cherished cars, your smart cars, your smartphones. You use different applications. The one that control the airplane, the one that that drives many of the 21st century innovations in the space, in any aspect of human endeavors, have been driven by software. And you always are amazed at the way certain things happen so intelligently, and then you wonder like if there are some magics happening behind, and that is what a software is. So this set of instructions that have been created are done by software engineer. So if you look at the software engineering definition again, now you'll understand why that application you use on your phone behaves that way, why that your internet banking behaves the way it behaves, why some of the smart systems you ever interacted with they behave, because it's created in a systematic way, in a disciplined way, with a lot of quantifiable study, and with thorough approach to design, with the development, how these systems will be, the operation and the maintenance of the software system. And that is what software engineering is. Let's quickly touch on how to become a software engineer. I've highlighted just 4 key points here. For somebody to be a software engineer, he must have problem-solving skills. This is actually general capabilities that people have. Naturally, they may not know. People who are very inquisitive in finding solutions to problems. Often when you get issues with doing something on your phone and you keep digging out, searching the internet for possible solution to it without quickly rushing to a technician to help you, or when your television set or your car develop faults, this ability of having to look for solution to problems is very required in becoming a software engineer. So when you have this capability, you've gotten say 30% of what is going to require you to be a software engineer. Then, because it's software engineers actually build instructions for computers, and computers are machines that you need to talk to using its own language. It doesn't understand English language, German, or French. You need to talk to a computer using computer language. So you have to learn one of computer languages. I've chosen some here for you, which you may consider Python, JavaScript, Golang, C#, Java. There are numerous programming languages, but this appears to be one on the top list currently, which I will advise that anyone who wants to join should look at. Then, because it's very broad, you need to find a mentor to help you navigate your way. If you don't have a mentor, a journey that should take you months or few years might end up taking you several years. So it's important you find a mentor. A mentor is somebody who is self-successful as a software engineer, who understands how to navigate ways, how to get quickly to the top without wasting much time on things that are that are not necessary. You need to get your hands dirty somewhere, and that's why you need to find a place for internship. You can't master software engineering by just reading books or watching some videos online. Until you get your hands into it, it's not likely you're going to become a successful software engineer. What are the benefits of being a software engineer? These are very, very numerous. I wouldn't want to take time to keep repeating many things but I've chosen these in order as it appeals to me. One is that when working as a software engineer, you're going to find the job itself interesting and it's full of fun. So you would need, if you are looking for interesting job to do, and then looking for where you need to have fun with your work, consider software engineering. If you're looking for somewhere you grow so rapidly, software engineering is one that gives you rapid growth in career. You don't need to wait. You don't need to spend certain years before you get to a certain level. You can rapidly grow to the top in just few years. So the road is usually very wide. There's no people blocking other people, as it appears in other careers where they say, wait for your turn. The road is always very broad. You don't need to wait for anybody. You can move and leave behind. You can leave behind your instructor, your own mentor, if he does not take care of his own growth. There is no entry barrier other than the programming skills, which I've mentioned before. It's because it's a skill that's required everywhere. You can work anywhere. You can work for any company. It's knowledge that's not limited to a particular community or society. It's the same knowledge that's used to solve problems in Nigeria that is required in other parts of the world. And this is what some of us benefits currently by having to choose our employer from any part of the world at any time. And then you have opportunity of making your salary be in US dollars. Currently one of the most strongest currency in the world, especially for us in Nigeria, where our currency gets goes down against dollar every day. So you have opportunity of earning in this currency. And sorry to say, when others are a bit frowning at the economy situation, you have different perspective of what is currently happening, because it doesn't affect you the way it affects others directly. As developers are actually in high demand with attractive salary, that's why you see software engineers, if you meet them today and they mention where they're working, try to ask them the next time you meet them. Possibly they may have changed job, because some people, they have been looked at for with attractive salaries, so they are not stable in a place. Yes. Now with the global revolution in how to work, now IT and particularly software engineering makes it so easy for people to work from home. And what that means is that you can spend your time better and be more productive with this opportunity. It's more easier with software engineering than any other field, because nobody actually needs you physically or need to see your face before you create the next solution that will check the world. So it can be in any part of the world and do something that will touch the whole world. Then from study and some of the reports that the Sadar mentioned, and that many that's available on the internet, the past, the present, and the future of software engineering is very bright. And this is due to the fact that we have increasing adoption of technology in all facets of our endeavors. Everybody wants technology to be used. And that makes, what it means is that we need more software engineers to create this solution. Now, what are the challenges? The challenges of being a software engineer is simply, first, steep learning curve. I must be sincere with you, to learn programming is not that easy, but it's only because the steep nature of the learning is where people think it's hard. But once you're able to overcome the initial difficulty, you're probably going to just keep enjoying learning it. And so you need to be aware of this, so you get prepared, and so that you don't get pushed back by this. So that's why I actually make it number first on my list. The second one also, which is also very important, is that it requires continuous learning due to the rapid changes in IT technology. You need also to be aware that a programmer or software engineer is one that learns every day and every time. In fact, he spends more time learning than even working. And so if you are looking for a career that you only learn once and you don't have to relearn, maybe software engineering may not be what you would consider, because this is very important and is a reality. And reality is the fact that IT has not even reached a point that it wants to stop. It keeps changing form, either the way the hardwares or the way the machines are being developed. So you as a software engineer, you must be prepared to continuously learning. Some years back, we don't mention some of those programming languages I listed above, and some of the technologies that are invoked today. And I'm not so sure how long some of these ones I even mentioned will last before they become old. So as a software engineer, what it means is that for me, that I've spent over 15 years, there are certain things I've learned in the past that are no longer relevant. I've had to drop and have to change because of the demand of the moment. So you need to be aware. Difficult to find a good mentor. You know, I mentioned you need a mentor to succeed, but yet it's difficult to find one because they are in high demand. They are very, very in demand. For instance, myself, I've been out of my house for over a week, and I don't know, my own mentees are looking for me, but I'm trying to create time to be available, and that's how it can be difficult to find a good mentor. But if you find one, please hold him very tight because you may not easily find a replacement. Some regard software engineers as boring people because they spend long hours on computer debugging program, thinking out solutions to problems being solved. If you don't like that kind of lifestyle, you may not want to consider software engineering because truth is you will spend those long hours. You will be regarded as your character would annoy some people because people who wants you to come out to socialize with them, they will miss you. You will miss those social gatherings you usually enjoy on Saturdays or Fridays or Sundays. You going to miss those functions. Work-life balance is difficult to achieve because why people talk about work-life balance in every work? For software engineer, it's one thing that's very difficult to achieve because you don't know when you're going to hit the next bug that will take a whole day or your whole night. But thank God now, because we do work from home, yes, even if you run into some of the issues, once you solve it, you don't need to jump on the streets to catch the next bus to your office. You can take the time to rest. So situation is being changed currently, but note that it's a reality. If you need to work, if you need to achieve work-life balance, you need to be determined if you are a software engineer. Challenges with eliciting software requirement. This is more particular. Once you become a software engineer, you need to know that these are recurring challenges that software engineers face, like wanting to know what software, how I should build the software. You will going to face this continuously until you learn to follow what we read as standard processes. For instance, for requirement elicitation, for other phases of your software engineering. That's why you need to learn software engineering properly to learn some of these standard processes. Otherwise, you're going to be frustrated out of the profession because you're going to hit a lot of failures, and you need to be aware of this. Another thing, because you are creating software not for yourself, you are creating software for clients, for users, and these are human beings. And you know by nature, human beings are difficult creatures. So they are difficult to satisfy. You would need to learn some methodologies like agile methodology and try to keep open communication to earn people's trust. To say, don't worry, I've got what you need. I'll get it out for you. This is very, very important. Also, very important is the lack of equally strong and committed engineers as team members. I must say that it might appear that many people are into software and all of that, but there are very few good ones. When you get into this field, you would have colleagues that are not as strong as you are, and you need to deliver based on the collective, capacity. So, for instance, there are 3 or 4 engineers, they believe that they should deliver something in 2 weeks. But unfortunately, you are working with 2 other guys who are not as strong as you are. Then, if you meet the 2 weeks deadline, you have got to do 2, 3 people's work to meet the deadline. And that's why you're going to face this. But we hope that situation will change as we have more engineers being developed, you're likely going to find yourself in good team. What I'm saying in essence is that if you find yourself in a bad team, you may regret being a software engineer. Young engineers are eager to choose higher pay over technical growth. Like I told you, software engineers are being lured into new jobs with higher pay, quoted in dollars, in pounds, or euro, over technical growth. The danger is some people have not properly built their foundation and they're pursuing higher pay. Eventually, they get trapped into doing something that is not helping them to grow. And before they realize, things will have gone past their knowledge and they actually get frustrated. There are times, you may have had interaction with some of people who said, at the time I was doing this, at the time I was a programmer. Let me tell you, the truth is some of these things are responsible. Some of them don't respond to those changes to learn new things. Some of them are being locked down into a place doing something that is so boring and something that is not helping them to grow. And then events will overtake them and they'll become very useless. I think this is where I will stop. Thank you for listening to me. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakallah khairan. May Allah the Almighty accept your efforts. Ameen. Our next item is question and answers, coordinated by moderator by Bro Ahmad Bello Sahib. Please, question and answers coordinated by Brother Ahmad Bello Sahib. Ahmad Bello Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
All right, jazakumullah khair. So standing on the existing protocol, I would like to begin the question and answer session, stroke the panelist session. But first, I would quickly like to run through the profile of our panelists, right, before we delve into the questions. First on my list is our respected Waqar Ahmad Sahib from Markaz UK. Sorry, can you signify if you are here with us? Let's see. I think I saw. All right. Jazakumullah khair. All right. So, wa alaikum salam. So, Waqar Ahmad is a tech leader in data engineering and software engineering space. He holds a master's degree in information systems with over 15 years experience in software development and database design. He is currently working as a senior database administrator for European operations of one of the largest mobility providers in the world. He has previously worked for an insurance underwriter where his job was to evolve and integrate new solutions into an already complex underwriting and claims management system. His current job role requires him to champion new technologies, as well as guide his colleagues through the technical and corporate landscape in the organization. His role requires him to design new and consult and work on existing on-premise and cloud-based applications. Waqar has worked on many different languages, including RTM/ZOPL, Pascal, Visual Basic, VB.NET, C#, Java, to mention a few. In addition to this, in terms of database, Waqar has worked on several relational database platforms, including MySQL Server, Oracle, MS SQL, as well as NoSQL databases, such as CosmoDB. But his greatest honor and pride is to serve the Jamaat in the capacity of the lead software developer in the Markaz IT department, UK. Alhamdulillah. So I present to you Wakar Ahmad Saib. Yes. All right. The next is Brother Oriolo Murtado Sahib. Can you signify if you are here? Brother Oriolo Murtado Sahib. All right. Jazakumullah khair. We appreciate if we can also see your face. All right. So Brother Oriolo Murtado is an experienced web developer with a strong background in developing content management-based websites and applications for a diverse clientele. He has over 10 years experience in the industry, including programming, web design and development, graphics, and wireframing. He is currently the director of BNet Learning and the founder of F1 Web. It will also interest you to know that Brother Oriolo Murtado is coming from a non-technology background. I think he was a biochemist, and then he transformed totally into an IT professional. I present to you Brother Oriolo Murtado Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, so the next panelist is respected Brother Mujib Oniide Sahib. Host, can you unmute him to confirm presence? Brother Mujib Oniide Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. All right. Brother Mujib is a graduate of computer science from Ibadan Polytechnic and Crescent University in Abeokuta, respectively. He has over 5 years work experience as a system support engineer in MTN Nigeria and another 6 years as a data analyst supporting the cocoa sustainability project at Sukuden, Nigeria. Presently, he works with international cocoa and chocolate company Barry Calubrat as monitoring and evaluation manager. As a product developer and Scrum expert, he was part of the team that deployed many digital intervention and solutions for MKA Nigeria, some of which include the Tajneed portal, the Malify application, and the monthly report portal, including Chanda Calculator and the Talim/exam portal. He's always intrigued with any project that will make work simpler and accessible for all through a digitalization experience. I present to you Brother Mujib Oniide Sahib.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right. My next panelist is Brother Farouk Ayade Sahib. Wa alaikum assalam. All right. Brother Farouk Ayade is a distinguished software engineer with over 9 years experience in application support, software development, and database application. He has worked for several global organizations, including MTN Nigeria and some key consulting organizations in Nigeria. His experience spans around the banking industry, fintech, and telecoms. But Farouk Ayade currently works for Deimos Cloud as a senior software engineer, where he actually leads the development and deployment of very key mission critical applications for several organizations. Yeah, he is also the brain behind some of our key applications, including the Malify application and Tajneed and a couple of MCAN applications. And he's currently our Ishayat, part of the Ishayat team. So I present to you, Brother Farouk Ayade Sahib. Okay. Thank you very much. So So to our audience, and please, if you have any question, you can signify by raising your hands, and you can also type in the chat box, right? So I'll do my very possible best to identify those questions and read it out to the panelists. So while the questions, while we await the questions, I would like to ask, because we also have a bouquet of questions to be thrown to the panelists. Okay, so just to mention, in addition, Brother Adeyemi is also one of the panelists, the lecturer that just, so his profile has been read earlier, so I didn't need to read it over again. Okay, so so my first question goes to Brother Murtada Oriolo Sahib. I would like him to give us like a brief journey of how he transcended from the non-technology career into the tech field. And, you know, in particular details, is a degree really required to become a software engineer in today's world? Brother Oriolo Sahib. Okay. I'm not sure if he's still, is he still with us? Admin, can you confirm Brother Oriolo Sahib?
Yes, he's.
Okay. Maybe he's possibly having some audio issues. Okay. Permit me to throw that question to Brother Wakar Sahib.
Somebody to unmute him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
I have a little challenge with, I think I didn't have the privilege to unmute myself.
Yes. Sorry
about
that.
All right. So briefly, I think very large percentage of members of the Majlis and members of the Jama actually know, you know, some of my story. I think I've said this quite a lot of times. So, but at the same time, let me just use this opportunity to briefly say some few things around that. I actually started out as I finished from Olabisi Onabanjo University as a microbiologist. And of course, I also, after that, I went into sales, you know, as regards the department that I worked then, that is microbiology department, working for a pharmaceutical industry in Lagos back then. So I was part of the sales team, you know, that moves the drugs around. So along the line, I came across somebody that actually introduced me to IT, you know, and what actually fascinated me to IT there was the textbooks that I saw with that person. The textbook was so packaged, you know, that would be the first time I'll be seeing something like that after my several years in school. So, and that's what came to me, that if a platform could have package like this, definitely that means this is a platform that it knows exactly what they are doing, you know. So, and that actually aroused my interest in wanting to know what IT is all about, you know. So, and then thereafter, I make some inquiries as regards what I can do to get into this platform. So I made a lot of inquiries, asked questions, and all that, talk to people, because what I was doing then in my previous job was a recent thing. Wake up in the morning, go to work, you know, come back, doing the same thing every day. And for somebody that is very, very restless like myself, I was not comfortable and was not happy with what I was doing. I needed something, you know. So I went into, there was a scholarship then organized by NIT. For those of us that knows NIT, I don't know if they are still around. They organized a scholarship for on programming, and I put into the scholarship, and I got the scholarship. I went for the training. So I was combining the training with my job. The training center was in Ikeja, and my job, the location where I normally deliver goods as a salesperson then was in Idumota. So I had to move, and I was staying in Iriakari Estate, Solo. I think the moderator is one of my mentors there.
Yeah.
So I will have to move from Isolo to Idumota. My class normally comes up around 4 to 6 in the evening. So I have to leave Idumota by 3 p.m. to rush down to Keja for the class. And I think I did that for more than 6 months, you know. So, and alhamdulillah, it was a very successful story. So how I eventually got, because that was the training part of it, how I landed the first job in IT.
Okay.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can, but we lost you for a while. Just like.
Okay, it's okay. All right. So there was an opening in Abeokuta, the NIT Center, and they asked those of us that did very well in the course if we would like to come in as instructor, and I put in for that, and I got that job then. So that was my journey. Actually, that was how I got into it, and of course, I did what I did in NIT. There was programming. I did Java programming and all that. So coming as an instructor, I had quite a lot of courses to take. So I think to some extent that speaks to why I am involved in virtually all aspects. A very large aspect of IT. Talk about from programming to database management to graphics to UI, UX to low code, no code. I have been able to, because being an instructor, you have to go to class every day. They give you courses to take. You have to talk to students. That means you have quite a lot of things to do. You have quite a lot of, aspects of IT to go into, because your students see you as an instructor. They don't know that this is just, maybe the call for this particular instructor is programming. They believe that you, as an IT person, you ought to have every ideas as regards, all aspects of IT. And that was a huge job on me. There are several, sorry, that was an interruption. Okay. So I think I was exposed to quite a lot of areas, as an instructor. So that's actually built my capacity. I'm sorry for that. Actually, there is another meeting currently going on that I was supposed to be part of, so I'm getting some interruptions.
Okay, it's fine.
All right, so that was how I moved from my microbiology, background to IT, and alhamdulillah, to some extent, I've been able to train quite a lot of.
All right, Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you very much. I think that should inspire a lot of us. So in summary, what that means is that even if you're a graduate in any field, be it Yoruba or accounting or whatever, you can come into the tech successfully once you have the passion and the zeal to move on. Jazakumullah khairan. All right. So my next question is for Waka Ahmad Sahib. So I would like to know, for you to tell our audience, what is the kind of the minimum age you think a young lad can get exposed to core programming? Is there like a minimum age, yeah.
No, the short the short answer is there is no minimum age. It's about aptitude. It's about your hobbies. When I was growing up, all I cared about was playing cricket and running around. I did not have the aspirations or nor the distractions that we have these days. It is very sad to see that our young children, the level of exposure that they have to the internet and all the vices that it brings. So If you permit me, I have a very small message to read from the Central Markaz IT Department, UK.
Yeah, please. Very good.
Apologies for the interruption there, but please allow me.
All right, sure.
Assalamualaikum. Please, is it in a doc form so I can share?
I beg your pardon?
I said, is it a doc form that you can share so I can? Do you want to share it, the document? Or you want to read the doc?
I can share my screen if you allow me, please.
Okay. Make him share his screen, please.
Shall I?
Okay. Yeah, I think you can go on while the admin makes you co-host to share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jazakallah. So I will quickly read this message. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The message reads as follows. Respected Amir Sahib Nigeria, respected Sadr Sahib Majlis Khuddamul Nigeria, and all members attending. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Many thanks for inviting Markaz IT Department UK to this blessed event under the auspicious scheme of Mirza Ghulam Qadir Shaheed IT Research Lab and Center, the abbreviation for which is MGQS. The initiative for this institute has been personally taken by Hazuri Anwar Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz, especially for the people of Nigeria, Ghana, and people of Africa in general. The instructions received by our department from Markaz are to establish this institute in Nigeria and Ghana and eventually spread out to other parts of Africa, whereby teams are to be established who will support the Jamaat by fulfilling the IT needs of the national Jamaat or Markaz, and if instructed, to other external entities. These teams will go on to train other members of the Jamaat and eventually become an institute where initially members of the Jamaat can gain credible and approved certifications in IT. These certifications can then become an offering to the general public and drive the country and its people forward and become self-sustaining. Now, I would like to remind you all of who Mirza Ghulam Qadir Shaheed Sahib was. Mirza Ghulam Qadir Shaheed Sahib was a member of the bloodline of the promised Messiah Islam and was martyred in Pakistan by non-Ahmadi clerics plotting a vile plan against the Jamaat. Mirza Ghulam Qadir Sahib became aware of this plan while he was held in captivity by these clerics and decided that even if his life is lost, he will make every effort to save the Jamaat from this plan. And in doing so, he was martyred, and when the plan of the clerics failed. In doing so, he was martyred when the plan of the clerics failed. I'm explaining this to you so that the name of this institution serves as a constant reminder of the sacrifice made by Mirza Ghulam Qadir Shaheed Sahib, as well as let it serve as a reminder of the pledge we take as Khuddam when we say, I shall sacrifice my life, wealth, time, and honor for the sake of my faith, country, and nation. I would like to remind you that this blessed scheme initiated by Hazuri Anwar Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz is not an ordinary scheme. It is a scheme which paints a picture of the love the Hazuri Anwar Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz has for the people of Africa, as well as the desire to end poverty in African countries and make members of the Jamaat a source of pride for their countries. As respected Adnan Tahir Saab mentioned, that there is a lack of opportunities in Africa. But now, Hazuri Anwar Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz has granted this opportunity to you. Please be of those who realize and benefit from this opportunity. Please remember that in order to really fulfill the purpose of our creation and succeed in this life and the hereafter, we need to form an unbreakable bond with Khilafat. And it is with this reminder that I humbly request you all to say, Labbaik to this initiative and pray hard and work hard so that you can shine the brightest and be a source of pride for the Ahmadiyya Jamaat and become beneficiaries of the prayers of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the promised Messiah alayhi salam, and our beloved Imam Huzur Anwar ayyadallahu ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz. Please remember to write to Huzur Anwar ayyadallahu ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz on a regular basis, seeking prayers regarding this blessed scheme, as well as for the betterment of general state of affairs across the world. May Allah the Almighty have mercy on us all and bless us with His love, care, and affection in this world and the hereafter, as well as be of those who form the strongest bond with our beloved Imam, Huzur Anwar ayyadallahu ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz. Ameen. Wa akhiru tawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakallah. So this was the message from our department. So I will quickly come back to the question that was at hand, and that was that, is there a minimum age? And the short answer is no, there is no minimum age. I know of kids who have had no professional training. Their parents are not into IT. In fact, they do not even like IT. But their children, instead of playing outside, spending time on the internet, suffering from its vices, they have channeled their energy, the parents, of their kids into watching YouTube videos on how to code. And in some respect, one of my nephews, he's far ahead of me at the moment. So I have made a deal with him. I will teach him what I know, but he's got to teach me. Anytime he learns something new, he's got to teach me. So no minimum age. Whether you are, and there is no maximum age either. You're always learning.
All right. Jazakumullah khaira, and we appreciate you. Thank you for that wonderful message from Jamaica's IT department. And I know the SADA staff is also glad to receive the message. And also, it's also reassuring to also learn about the wonderful Sahabi, whose name has been named after this wonderful program. It's quite interesting.
He was not a Sahabi. It was the times of Khalifa Rabi, Rahmullah Ta'ala.
Oh, okay.
And it was a very testing time for the Jamaat because of what was happening in Pakistan at the time. And I think the name should serve as a reminder of his sacrifice, as well as remind us all as to what this blessed scheme requires from us.
Yeah.
While we're not required to give our life, we are I will if we have to. But you are only required at the moment to give your time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's only for the betterment of the people. So the opportunities have been granted. The challenges are the challenges that will come in working for the Jamaat will surpass any challenges that you will have in any corporate environment. I can guarantee you that. I have come from a corporate environment. When I first started here in this department, the first few weeks only, and I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years ago, the first few weeks only was the time when I brought outside knowledge into this department. And ever since then, the challenges that arose from within, the requirements and the superstars that are here in the Jamaat, and the analysis they provided has turned that relationship around. And now I am exporting knowledge out of here to the corporate environment. And I have seen enterprise architects, principal engineers go, how did you learn that? And where did you learn that? And my answer is, well, I work for an organization, I volunteer with an organization, and you have no idea what they do. The challenges that are here will very, very quickly, you will climb up that ladder. If you choose MDQS as your mentor, you know, Yusuf Adiyami said, he mentioned that you need to have a mentor and don't let go. I say to that, if you choose MDQS as your mentor, that journey, because of this blessed scheme, because you have the prayers of Khalifatul Masih, Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Asalides behind you, that journey and that barakah in your time will be so immense that that journey will be covered in no time. I can guarantee you that. And Alhamdulillah, I am a living, breathing example of that journey. What I have learned in the last few years, it would not be possible in any shape or form to learn that from outside. It's just not possible.
Yeah, Jazakumullah khairan, very insightful. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to the next question, I would like Brother Farouk Ayode Sahib to kind of elaborate more on the different types of software engineering. So I know we have front-end and back-end engineers, service reliability engineers, data engineers, cloud engineers, and the likes. So can you educate us a little on you know, some of these areas and how we can actually delve into this?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.
Yeah, so software engineering is a very, very broad career path. It has a lot of subsidiaries. Most times when we talk about software engineering, the most frequent ones we always make mention to is software development. But there are also other parts of software engineering that are core parts of software engineering, but they are not being mentioned frequently. One part is the product managers and the project managers. Because of the way software engineering is, we are trying to build a product. You're trying to deliver a solution, a software. It needs a lot of hands on deck, starting from when you actually gather your analysis, your requirements. So, at the point of, okay, we want to actually build a chair that does what? How should the chair be like? Is it an office chair? Is it a dining chair? Is it a living room chair? So a lot of requirement. What do we want the chair to be able to do? Do we want the chair to be able to collapse once we stand up? Do we want headrest with the chair and all that? So that is where we have the product managers coming in to actually help with, and the business analyst also coming in to actually gather those requirements with the clients. You also have the project managers also who play a very, very key role in software engineering, because they are actually the ones after the requirements gathering. They actually sit with you with the requirements analysis and putting a timeline to it. Okay, this should take so, and they follow up. You also have the UI UX engineers. They don't write codes, but they design the application in a way that, okay, this is, I'm trying to remember the right word. This is a prototype of what we want. Okay, so somebody taking paper, pencil in literal terms to say, okay, this is the kind of chair we want, and draw out that chair and say, okay, is this what we actually want? Okay, no, we want it to have headrest. Can you add it? And the person designs it and shows us and say, okay, yes, this is a nice prototype. So we can now start building this. So UX engineers are also key parts of software engineering. We have the software developers that we all know as the major software engineers that actually come up and build that system. But when they build it, that's not the end of the life cycle for the software. It still has to be managed by the support engineers. That is where application support engineers come in. So they don't build applications. What they do is they maintain the life cycle of that application when it is being used. So that is basically what they do. When there's an issue, they try to see how they interact with the users, the end users, the end users, what exactly is needed to be done. Perhaps the error is an end user initiated error. If it's an application error, they have some of those fixes they can actually fix. And when it's beyond what they can actually fix, they help to push it back to the software developers to actually make that fix on that bug. You have the QA, those are the testers. They actually ensure quality assurance that, oh, this chair we are trying to build, does it actually meet up with all the specifications we actually want? What if somebody of weight 200 kg sits on it, will it break? What if we want to lap someone on that chair? Will it still be able to work? What happens if we put just a feather on the chair? Will it still collapse, or will it be intelligent enough to know that something is resting on it and still retain its shape? So there are different parts of software engineering. It's not just about the software developers, the data engineers, the machine learning engineers, the AI guys. A lot of people actually make up the software engineering ecosystem, with addition to product and project managers. All right.
Wa alaikum salam. Jazakumullah khairan. But Yusuf Adeyemi, I see your hands up. You want to add something to this?
Yes.
Very quickly. Wa alaikum salam. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Well, Farouk has really done justice to that question, but I just think I need to provide this clarification on the difference between the software delivery process, which actually involves all of the rules Farouk actually highlighted, and the core software engineering itself. And it will be important to also mention here that, as it's good for us to look at other areas of software engineering, as you've mentioned. You can also see that from this discussion, at the end of the day, it's
please, can you put on your camera? Can you put on your camera, sir, so that we can follow you? Exactly.
So you can also understand that at all of these other roles seems to be like an attachment to the software engineers. And just to emphasize that the very most important is the software engineers themselves, who turn this whatever requirement or request into the product. But I just want to mention that software engineers are just software engineers. I'm happy to say we can begin to look at different types, like you mentioned, backend, ML, machine learning, and all of those things. But I think we have, in his expansion, he has extended through other roles in the entire software engineering delivery process, which talks about the product owner, product manager, and then SRE. You can regard SRE as software engineers. They are completely at the other end of the flow, which is maintaining the infrastructure where these applications or services, where they live. I'm not sure if.
All right. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was a good addition. Okay. So I'm coming back to the Zoom question reel. I think we have a question asking how much will a TIFL pay to become a software programmer or engineer? Well, I think that will be communicated by the ATFAO team in due course. So please watch out. We'll communicate as soon as the decision on the payments for the program will go. But the first thing is we need to get the right set of people, right? We need to be sure they have the passion and they are ready for this journey. I think the least important thing right now is to consider the amount. Whatever it will take, the first thing is do they have the vision? Do they have the passion? And then, to go through on this. Okay, the next question from, okay, I didn't see this name. So, so this person is asking if what we think about the low code, no code platforms like Microsoft Power Apps, Shopify, and so on. So whether Yusuf, please, can you, I think he wants to know, this person perhaps does not like coding and wants to know how he can navigate himself around this area.
Yeah, well, I would have loved Brarolo to really, I think he has explored this part. Apologies, I haven't explored this.
Okay.
I won't want to say something that will seem biased, but it's actually a good, with the few I've read about it, they are very fantastic. You quickly can turn out something very powerful with some of these platforms. But when we talk about developing raw talents, I would say we should let's develop somebody who can, code. Writing the raw codes will be very, very most important for us. But when I talk about productivity, there are certain things truly you don't need to reinvent the wheel. But it's not at this stage when we are now building talent. We should build the raw talents. And then when it comes to a point where we're now looking at productivity and say, okay, we don't need to build this from scratch. We can use no code to just generate something that works and works very fast. But I think Waka Ahmad has something to say on this. I would allow him.
Yes, please.
I do, Jazakallah. Look, there are many ways to get into this field. Okay, low code, no code is an approach that does not make you a programmer. Okay, however, it is one of the first steps to becoming a programmer. And the reason for that is that when you first learn programming, an essential part is to write things like pseudocode, which is your plain language. You can write it in whatever language you fancy. You can write it in French. You can write it in English, whatever language you speak. Point is to define logical steps that you will take in order to achieve a means to your end. Now, the thing is that what language you do it in is insignificant as long as you get what you want. Once you have gotten a good grasp of what coding entails, you can do that without even learning a programming language still. You can do that by just drawing up, scribbling on a bit of paper. You can define the logic that is needed in order to solve a problem. And then comes the step of how you're going to achieve that. How are you best placed? Are you going to do this in PHP? Are you going to do this in C#, Java, F#, Python? For example, for tasks that require stats and lots of stats, tasks that have people in fintech field would know Python is very good at doing some of the things compared to other languages. So point is, that is a second step. If you are taking the low code, no code approach, remember that it will not make you a programmer. You will still achieve your target, but you not necessarily will become a programmer. So bear that in mind. It really depends the path that you want to follow. Programming is different. It is purely programming. It's not just, dragging and dropping a few bits of things here and there.
Yeah. All right. Jazakumullah khair for that. But Murtado, please go on.
Okay. Jazakumullah khair, Wakar Sai. And also Mr. Yusuf Adiyemi for that wonderful contribution. Just like what they've said, they've practically been able to explain what low-code, no-code it's all about. Like, it's not a replacement for programming. For example, apart from having my students that I have that are core coding students, I also have students that are also doing no code. And of course, I tell them every day that it's just a way of getting into coding, because one thing I realized with my little experience with that is that it makes them have that interest in coding. They have idea about coding, and they have that the zeal and the enthusiasm to want to go into core coding. So that's just what I've been able to identify from this. With low code, no code, we've been able to go to market very fast, But of course, definitely, for example, one of the major one that we use right now from our own end is Bubble, and Bubble is largely based on JavaScript. Okay, so this is also, gradually exposing them to JavaScript, full stack and all that. So it's just the way, it's not a substitute for coding, but I realized with my little experience that it's something that is making people to be much more interested in coding, and making it a very easy platform for them to go into core coding. Thank you. Jazakallah.
All right. Jazakallah khair for that. Okay, so we have a question from the YouTube reel. So Brother Ibrahim Sulaiman. So he said he's a student of cyber security and ethical hacking, and he would like to know if there are opportunities to function in this area within the Jamaat. So I'd like Wakar Ahmad to. Yeah, so he wants to know: is it only software engineering? Considering ethical and cybersecurity guys?
That's a very sought after skill, and not everybody can have it, and not everybody has got it. So yes, you are in big demand, and there are certainly avenues that you can follow within this department. Now, whether you choose to, it really depends what your circumstances are. I don't know the age of the person asking the question. As I mentioned in the chat, the target audience for MDQS, this initiative, are 13 to 25 years of age, that age group. However, people outside of that, this initiative is for the people of Nigeria. It's not just for that specific age group. How we are going to navigate people, how people outside of this age group are going to navigate the participation, we can seek direction on that. So yes, you can help. And yes, you are in big demand. Ethical hackers are.
Yeah.
But that process of application is what I'm talking about. That we can discuss offline.
All right. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Okay. Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, I'm not sure what the person is talking about. Is he saying is learning cybersecurity and ethical hacking, or is looking of how to turn his knowledge of cybersecurity into something that we can use within Jamal, and or for himself also to make something better out of what he has learned with?
Yeah, so so he's talking about this current program that is there an available slot or learning path for him? He's actually a student in that area.
Okay.
So yeah.
I would love the person to really consider being a full security engineer that covers both application security and infrastructure security. Yeah, rather than now into cybersecurity and ethical hacking. I think it's one big name people choose to have because of the way it sounds, but I think more importantly is looking at being a full-fledged security engineer with strengths in application security and infrastructure security.
All right. Okay, so this one is for Brother Mujib Oniyide Swahib. So I'd like him to give us some insights into data analysis and data science. I know he works for as a data analyst in a top organization. So can you give us a brief into this area for those who may be considering this?
Wa alaikum assalam. First of all, I want to appreciate the privilege given to me by this platform to speak and share little of my experience. I must say that this is a dream come true for MGQS. We are having it in Nigeria. Bra Yusuf Adeyemi, Bra Multadoli can also testify to us looking for ways to get this done all these years. And Alhamdulillah, we are having this. And I hope that we build on this going forward. Whatever solutions that we are having out there presently or by developers is just like a tool. Where data analysis comes in is, for every application that we develop in these days, as the world continues to integrate mobile or digital solutions to every facet of life, data is continuously generated. In fact, there are quantum number of data being generated and nobody's looking at it. And but we need to understand, okay, yes, we are generating this data. To what use? How do we monitor it? How do we study it? How do we analyze it? How will it help us in our decision making? That's where data analysis comes in. And it's data analysis feed on already developed solutions and the data they are generating every time, and see how it will be filtered, it will be analyzed to support the business going, and also help the management or the top ranking in the organization on how best to project or the result that is coming out from it, how it's also going to support them in decision making. So by and large, we need to, data analysis is something that is very common, people are going into now because it helps the organization to maximize the operation. It makes them to understand the business models, makes them to also predict what will happen in the next couple of time. Okay, if this is studied over that period of time, okay, what will happen? So that's where programming language like SQL, R, and Python also comes in to also help data analysts to analyze lots of data that is being generated and help the business in decision making. So data analysts are very useful in this age where we need to, we are also in a digital era where IoT is also generated integrated into so many things.
Okay. Sorry, I think some network problems there. Yeah, but I think we got quite some insight from that. Okay, Brother Yusuf, you want to add to that?
Yeah, just to complement Brother Majib, I think couldn't draw the conclusion on that. Yeah, to emphasize that data engineering is very important in today's world of IT, and it's one very big thing we should be looking at too, because companies today have lots of other rules for IT specialists, especially people in data engineering. For instance, myself in 2021, I worked on the large, big projects, one for Genius Sports. Genius Sports is based in Colombia, and they have a license to aggregate data from NFL, and they are responsible for many of these games. You get to see their statistics online, a lot of those things. What basically I was doing there was largely data engineering work, a little coding, where we're piping some of this data into some sort of data pipeline and visualization and all of those stuff. So I wouldn't have been able to function in that project if I didn't have some good background of data engineering, like we talked about SQL or Python or some other data related technologies. So if you don't have if you are sure that you are not so strong, not going to survive as full-fledged software engineer, the moment you have your basic programming, begin to look at data engineering.
Okay, I think some network problems.
The network there too.
Yes, yes. All right, but that's well taken. Jazakumullah khairan, but I so sorry. Okay, so we have another question. Yes, please. But that's Dr. Sadiq. Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I'm not sure I can hear you, but if you can drop me a message. Okay, so I would like Brother Farouk to take this. So this person wants to know what internship opportunities are there to get for people who rely on sources like YouTube to learn coding, and they don't really have the confidence to approach their first job. So, right, so how easy is it to get internships, and can you provide guidance on this? Brother Farouk, sir. Okay, I don't know if he's still with us. Okay, can you, host, can you unmute Brother Farouk, please? And all my panelists. Jazakallah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, so this is a very, very important question. Because like Brother Yusuf mentioned during his presentation, you actually need to get your hands dirty. It's not just about watching videos, learning. You need to have to put those learnings into work, into actions. That is how you know you are growing as a developer. Alhamdulillah, I mean, we have various places where you can actually learn as of today. You can actually get corporate places where you can actually learn. You can actually apply for internship based on what you've learned. Also, the Jamaat and Majlis Ahmadiyya has a lot of space for developers actually to engage. As of today, we know that digitization is actually going on at Jamaat level, at even at the Majlis level. At Jamaat level, we have the Tajnid portal, we have the Jamaat Chanda portal. At Majlis level, we have the Malify, the first of its kind in any of Majlis Khuddam around the world. We have reports portal. We have even the Talim. We have a Talim portal for questions for solving for our exams. So there are a lot of applications, and there are still a lot of applications we need to come up with. There are a lot of upgrades on these applications because clients are never satisfied. You need to always improve on those technologies. So if you are looking for somewhere to actually move in, and you won't be tested. Tested in the sense that some internships you actually have to take interviews before you can actually pass for that internship. We are looking for places whereby you can just go in and you will be accepted because you have the #1 criteria. You are an Ahmadi. I think you can actually try out with the Jamaat or with Majlis Ahmadiyya. You'll be given chance. The only thing is we are not paying. So if you're looking for paid internship, we might not be able to help you with that. But if you're looking for somewhere to actually try your hands, I know of 3 of brothers working with me presently. When they started with me, they were just working locally. But right now, in fact, I have to respect them because they've gotten very, very big jobs in different parts of the country, US, North America, and the likes. And they always reference these applications we build for the Majlis. They always reference it. And one of them even had to do a demo. I myself, I've gotten a job before using Malify as a case study. Actually, I got a US job with Malify actually when I was trying to explain distributed systems and all. So if you are looking for a place where you can actually learn and you won't actually be scared of would you be pushed out? Would they give you a chance to actually do something? I think you can learn from the Jamaat and the Majlis, and from there you can pick up and start working at paid internships and the rest. And you always reference what you've done for the Jamaat or for the Majlis.
All right, Wakar sir, please. You want to add to that?
Yes, please, Zakumullah. So first and foremost, I would like to compliment Brother Farooq Sahib on his very well-defined answer. I would like to add and reiterate some points there. Look, in Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya, no other people in this whole world are as fortunate as us. I remember 15, 16, 17 years ago even, when I got my first job, it was through a reference of the Jamaat. I did not know very much. I got out there, got my head stuck in, and I just kept going for it. I learned from YouTube, I read books, I did anything that I could do, but I kept getting refused. At every job interview, the question had been, do you have any previous job experience? And I was like, well, you know what? This is my first job. How can I have previous job experience? And then you try and understand. If you try and understand the mindset that is leading to this question, in my experience, that mindset is how serious and how mature is this person? It's not about the job, okay? It's not about your previous, you need to be a certified employee beforehand. It's not, absolutely not like that. Because the opportunities that Jamaat gives you, as I've already said, it gives you those opportunities in a way and nurses you in a way that allows you to become from a seedling to a plant and into a tree very, very quickly. No other organization, no other Jamaat offers a career path such as this. So whether you are a highly qualified person, whether you are a junior who has learned through YouTube, through books, through things like Pluralsight, please get stuck in, lend a hand, and it will give you a taste of what the real world problems are. Okay, learning everything in a lab, in a controlled, isolated environment can only expose so much knowledge on you. Okay, you have to go out there to learn. Now, internships are important, but the greatest internship you can have is be a member of Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya. Okay, so lend a hand, please. I know I will give a brief example here. In my previous job, I worked with a guy who used to be a bricklayer. Okay, he did not finish school. He did not go to college. He used to go to building sites and he used to make walls. Okay, he was a bricklayer by profession. But he grew up on the street. He taught himself how to code. He went through a learning process. He was so clever and so in tune with the whole thing that he became a development manager. Okay, that's one example. The other person I know who helps us out, who volunteers with this department, came from a finance background. This person had absolutely no interest in IT. He was through and through into economics. He went to an extremely prestigious economics and finance school in London. Okay, and he did his master's there. But when he was 15, 16, he was involved with Khuddamul and standing up and administrating Khuddamul websites just as a regular CMS WordPress user, okay? That's all he was doing, uploading content. So a relationship was formed there, and then he did his master's in finance, but eventually found a career, self-taught again, no certifications, eventually found a career as a developer for one of the top companies in the world. Another person who I know came from an accounting background. He's a certified accountant. He went on to become, he's now one of the leading figures in IT security. He went on to become a CTO of a company. Okay, so there aren't any bounds. Don't be shy. Don't be daunted by the task and the road ahead. The bosom of Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya will take care of you. Okay, get stuck in, volunteer. There are initiatives and the love of Khalifa, initiatives from the Khalifa for you. The love and prayers of Hazur Anwar are with you. So take a step forward, and inshallah, Allah will take care of the rest.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a very good one. Okay, Brother Yusuf, you want to add to it quickly?
Yeah, I think it's important to also have my personal experience having to give time to work for the Jamaat. Yeah, this is very important for those that are learning. I don't know how it happens, but I think it's just the blessing of the Khilafah that it makes it to be often that coincidentally, anytime I come to give out my time to work at the headquarters, I always leave with a call to get a contract. I've shared this with many times, and these are even big projects. It happened. It just always happened that way, and it's one of the testimony I can share with everyone. I'm always eager to spend my time, doing stuff for the Jamaat, and I think it's something. Aside the fact that it's going to give you opportunity to try your hands on some things or to work with some people, the blessing is enormous. It's something can be verified. I don't think anybody has ever gone through it genuinely, and we don't have anything to share about this. So.
All right, Jazakumullah khairan for that. But Mujib. Mujib Saab, you want to add something quickly? I think you are muted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Assalamu alaikum. Rightly said by all the panelists. I think as an Ahmadi, we usually underestimate or underrate the kind of blessed Jamaat in which we are. Farouk, Akar, and Bra Yusuf already mentioned the sacrifices they've done. But in the corporate world, it's unfortunate that most of us don't usually mention some of the sacrifices or some of the volunteering aspect of our experience in resume or CV when looking for jobs. So it gives us some, throwback. But I will advise people, whatever sacrifices that you are doing or whatever volunteering that you're doing in the course of the Jamaat activities, find a way of documenting it in your resume. It always says a lot. Many of us have done that. I personally have done that. I know I've gotten probably an edge in some interviews with the fact that I've done some volunteering activities. Many of us should not shy away. I was discussing with Nefsadar admin one time also about this, something related to this volunteering and us upscaling our curriculum vitae. He said, well, so many other religious bodies usually mention it in their CV and the likes, but he hardly see Muslims doing that. So I think it's important that we also mention it here, that as an Ahmadi Muslim, for wherever position that we occupy, as probably as a Qaid, as Wakara Amal, as financial secretary, think for instance, all those positions that we have, please try and find a way. They are also a platform at which it's also like we can also use it as an internship platform that we can also present in corporate world, which will also give us an edge. I think I don't want to overflog the platform, saying that yes, Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya or the Jamaat in general have a platform for us to exhibit or show our skills, which we can also refer to in the corporate world. Thank you, Jazakallah.
All right, Jazakallah khair. Okay, I think Brother Wakar Saf, you want to add something quickly?
Yeah, I just quickly want to share a personal experience with you. Look, no person can feel like an Ahmadi does and be aware of the blessings that Ahmadis have. And on top of this blessed tree, there is the Imam and Khalifa of the time. And in this case, Huzur and Barayadallahu Ta'ala with Rasul Aziz. I just want to very quickly share a personal experience with you. So I used to work for a company where the attitude around network security was very relaxed. And I developed the habit of doing my Jamaat work in my office hours when I did not have anything else to do. That access was implicit, it was not explicit, and I just took care of it and kept working. When I applied for my new job, I was working on Jamaat projects, which required more and more of my time. And when I went for the interview, just out of the blue, I said to my manager now that, I have my own lab area, that I have virtual machines that I need to access. This is where I do my learning, and this is where my knowledge comes from. So will you allow me access to those machines? He was like, yeah, no problem at all. I had written a letter to Huzur saying that, Huzur, if this job is good for me and good for the Jamaat, this is where I work, and I would like to continue volunteering, and I would like this access to remain. And it was such a blessed response that Huzur has prayed for me. Anyways, this job I had no chance of getting. Okay, yeah. It was way beyond, way over my head. I had no idea. I was 100% certain that I will not be getting this role. Anyways, I kept writing to Huzur, and the process of employment went on and on, and there were interviews and such. And one day I got a call to say I've been successful. Okay, Alhamdulillah. I wrote to Huzur again and I explained everything. But I just want to explain, the reason why I'm explaining this is not because of what I did, but the way Allah Ta'ala helps. In this entire process, I had not applied for the role, for the job that I got. I got headhunted by an external company. I did not fill in an application form until the day I started. They wrote me a contract, they wrote me everything, even though I had not made a formal application to the company. And I remember the HR person ringing me on my office phone to say, hey, yes, we have said to you that you can work with us, and that's fantastic. We like you, but can you please fill out a job application form so that formality can be done? And the reason why I'm explaining this is because while you're making an effort, do not forget that it is only because of the bond with Khilafat that you will succeed, okay? Do not think your efforts alone will be enough, okay? You're relying on your efforts alone puts you in the same class as the rest of the non-Ahmadi world, okay? What gives us the edge as Ahmadis over the rest of the world is our Imam, okay? And Allah Ta'ala behind us, and our Imam's prayers behind us. So write to Huzur, okay? There are so many miracles that are mentioned continuously throughout different forums in the Jamaat surrounding things like this. So please, please, please write a letter to Huzur amongst all your other efforts. Take 10 minutes out.
All right. Thanks for that. Okay, so on a final note, we'll take Brother Murtado finally before we wrap up the panelist session. Brother Murtado, please. We have just 2 minutes. Bismillah. Can the host kindly unmute him? Okay.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right. I just want to briefly chip in something.
Barredo, sir, please, you can try to unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, yes. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Go on.
All right, good. Yes, I just want to briefly mention this. Sometimes last year, there was a program organized by Binet Learning. This is a platform in Canada, young Nigerians in Canada, and they are looking to give back to Nigerians. You know, so they had a program. The program was Young Professional Scholarship Program. You know, looking to just select 50 Nigerians across the nation. You know, I was part of that team. Of course, I'm presently a director of technology on that platform. So this link, the information and everything I share with members, I give it to people and all that. But to my dismay, I couldn't find any member of the Jama. Nobody from the Majlis, nobody from the Jama at all. Out of that 50 that was selected throughout the Federation. These guys just completed that program last month, of course. And of course, they were trained on various skill sets. Project management, data analyst, you know, database management system, you know, quite a lot of very fantastic program. So I think to some extent also, our attitude also is something we need to really work on. With all these informations that have been given out, how ready are we to take up these opportunities, to take up these challenges, to go through all those and make sure we get this? You know, I could say that a lot of us are very good at listening, getting these informations, and that's where it ends. You know, so I'm just using this opportunity with all this that I've been said so far. I think we should be very ready to take up this challenge, put all the energies, everything that we need to do to get it done. We could see that it's been there, done that. I mean, quite a lot of experiences, quite a lot of testimonies are coming out of this. And the other parts, as in the Christians, like I said, the 50 Nigerians that were selected, almost 80% of them are Christians. And these guys actually went through their churches. That was when I shared the link. I shared it on various platforms. I gave it to some members of the Majlis to also share. We couldn't get any member of the Jama to do this. So very soon, of course, I also have in mind to still go further and have discussions with them on how we can still work something out. If we can have some sort of partnership with the Majlis and all that.
All right. Finally, we'd like to appreciate all our panelists. It's really been a very insightful and interesting discussion. So I think key for me is the learnings that are experienced and people have shared. We need to take note of this and imbibe them into our daily lives, right? So, okay, at this point, I would like to hand over to the chairman. I think we've overrun our time by like 4 minutes. Apologies. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah wa sanal jaza for the moderator sahib. At the same time, the panelists, may Allah the Almighty reward all of them for the knowledge they shared with all of us. Next is a summary of the syllabus and program. How it will work, it will be by Abbas, Joda, and Atfal teams.
But Abbas, Joda, kindly unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, I want to thank the discussants on the topic being discussed on. So I'm going to give you giving us a summary of the syllabus that we're going to be using on the program. So give me some minutes. Okay, so basically what we have currently is into two parts, which is computer fundamentals and computer programming. Okay, so the first part, which is the computer fundamentals, is going to run for 2 weeks from what we have here. Then the computer programming and some other parts, which involves source code management, a little bit of front end, data management, data SQL. We take the rest of the 20 weeks. So basically the program is to run for 20 weeks for the first cohort. So, and for each week, we're going to be having classes. We're going to be having in-class assessments and to finalize with take-home assessment. So for each assessment that is done, there is a grade. There's going to be grading for each assessment, then to be followed up by a final kind of exam. Everything is going to be everything is going to be put out to grade each student in the class. So so that's how it's going to be for this first cohort. After we might have, because the first stage is for students to actually register, then followed by assessment tests to select qualified students. Then for those that do not pass the assessment test, will be sent on areas where to improve so that they can register for the next cohort. Then, since it's going to be the first time, so we have just these areas covered. Then, looking at the outcome of this first cohort, then we can see areas or subsequent modules that will be added to the syllabus. So, how it's going to work will be discussed by the ATFAL team. Someone look on our part.
So in addition to what Raja has said, inshallah Aziz, we have the next stage will be the a link will be sent to all members of Jamaat. They are going to fill that link, and from that link we are going to get interested participants. Those are at file from 13 years to 15 years. Those who are interested. Once we get the details, then we'll set a date for the aptitude test. Those who pass the aptitude test between now, from 2nd of April to 16th of May, the revision will go on of April. From 2nd of April to 16th of April, we'll continue the registration progress. Then the screening should start between 17th of April to 23rd of April, inshallah Aziz. So the screening will be on an aptitude test, and it's going to be online, so they can write they can write the exam via from their home. Then those who pass the screening, then they will be invited for the first virtual session. And that virtual session should hold between 30th or 1st of May, inshallah Aziz, depending on the Ramadan. That will be most possibly a day after the Ramadan Fitr, Eid al-Fitr. So that's when we're going to have the first virtual session. After that, we are going to have the first weekend camp, which is going to be a fortnight camp. They'll be coming for a fortnight camp to Jokoro. They'll be resuming on Friday. When they resume on Friday, Friday will be just arrival because we understand that some of the students might even go to school. So Friday evening is arrival, and we have introduction of some aspects. But the real learning will be a 15 hours target on Saturday. So you're literally targeting at least 15 hours target on Saturday. So early in the morning on Saturday, throughout Saturday. So on Sunday will be the examination, because they're going to have examination on, that's MCQ, to round off each week. So they're going to have the MCQ in class assessment on Sunday, and they will move. So we're going to start the program from 16th. The real weekend camp will start from the 6th of May to 8th of May. And it's going to be a 20 weekend camps program. So we plan to achieve the syllabus throughout the 20 periods. So we're going to have two weeks camp camp within these fortnight camps. So that will help occur in August, September, and inshallah Aziz, after this program, we are going to we advise our members to please give out a large broadcast of the link. So once you give out the large broadcast of the link, then we can take the invoice. So the second thing we need to do is also to send out a link for all those for tutors. So there has been a link that we have created for tutors, or those who are willing to sacrifice their time as instructors and tutors for this for our members of Atfal. So we advise our members to please give a large broadcast for this link as well. So we're going to send a link out for all tutors, those who are, but they will have to come. They will have to, all tutors, one of the conditions is that as the Uzura has directed, they also have to come down to help us take the kids. So they can tell us when they will be available and the courses they can take. So there'll be an agreement within us. The overall coordinator will be Mr. Yusuf Ademi, and we have one of our coordinators from the MKA-NIGERIA, who is Brajada. So all our discussants also will be leading facilitators that are going to add to the group for the instructors. So after each program, every month we'll be sending a report on what we have done. So to the Zur, the markers, for this week, this is what we did, this is what that we have, and this is what they achieved. So we're sending to them for every month. And after the 20-week period, 20-week period of learning, with the two fortnight camps, we hope to have an assessment, a project after that, and based on that project, we can decide, okay, these students are going to the next level. Then we'll join with other programs. We'll sit down, see, okay, what are the next thing we can, then we take another intake. That is by this time next year, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So our next item on the agenda is that is feedbacks from the participants. So respected Sadr Sahib, or I don't know that how it will go on, but it is feedbacks from the participant. According to your program, you can go on that, please.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Brother Sir, Salah Sahib has sent some names. I don't know if you have seen it. Okay,
Professor Abdul Rahman Abdullah.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Please, can Professor Abdul Rahman Abdullah?
Yes, I can see Sadr Sahib has sent it to me also. Sada Sahab has sent it to me also. So
We can
kindly,
unmute
please, if you
him.
can go on, that will be better. Go ahead.
Sada has requested Alhaji Oje from Abuja to
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This Professor Abdullah is speaking. Let me join others to appreciate this initiative and to pray the Almighty Allah to bless it for all of us. This initiative is heartwarming, especially now that the Jamaat Nigeria is planning to set up a university, Minaret International University. And one of the core programs that is going to be the flagship there is computer science related courses. And this program perfectly fits into the vision of the university. In the first instance, I'm so happy and elated to realize that we have this crop of IT professionals within the Jamaat. And what that implies is that we are going to have a university that will soon become a reference point in Nigeria. We just wanted to challenge our IT professionals on this platform to equally realize the important role they have to play in the formative stage of this university, so that all these kind of programs can be further developed into a graduate program, and our university will become highly sought after for admission in the country and beyond. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Inshallah, we are hopeful that in the due course of time, when MGQS is fully established, we are hopeful that inshallah there will always be a very good relationship with Minaret University. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Inshallah.
Can we have Alhaji Oje from Abuja, sir? Please, sir, can you raise your hand so that we can unmute you, sir?
Yes, I've unmuted him. I've unmuted him already. Alhaji just unmute himself. I've unmuted him.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, I have been following the program, and I'm highly impressed to see the crops of members having this type of activity going. For me, I will try as much as possible to encourage the younger ones that we have here in Abuja to ensure that these special cohorts, we keen to it, because for now, children are in the habit of doing extramurals that is drilling them from what we are expecting them to be. And now that we now have this type of program, I want to assure us that we have full participation of our younger ones here in Abuja. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Please, can we also have Sada also request Shuaib Badmos from Lagos. I don't know if he has been unmuted. Shuaib Badmos, Sahib.
Yes, he has been unmuted. You should unmute yourself, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Jazakallah khairan. I'm more than happy to see this happening this time. Alhamdulillah. I hope that just like the area that Tadorolo pointed, that I hope that we take maximum benefit from this initiative. And with the nature of organization that I belong to, the Jamaat, we always have extra blessings for anything we do, just for us to open our minds and tap into that blessing. So may the Almighty Allah bless it immensely. The point that also touched me is the points particularly pointed out by Brother Yusuf Adeyemi about people committing their time to works of the Jamaat, and that actually have positive impact on their worldly affairs. So many of the members who are really doing one thing or the other for the Jamaat actually come up with these points all the time. So I think it's an area we also need to push to our members, because what I see this program doing is that people that will benefit from it will begin to also multiply to others. So as soon as we have a lot of people who are benefited, so that gives a multiplying effect in the sense that as they benefit, they also come back to give back. And with that, they also add more people into the train. So by Allah's grace, in future, we have cause to thank Allah that this is happening in our time. So I really appreciate the effort of the Majlis and everybody who have contributed into this program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, within the next 5 minutes, if we have any other members on the platform that have 1 or 2 comments, not more than a minute, just 1 minute comments from 2 to 3 people, so that inshallah we'll round off the session finally by 1 o'clock. Any hands raised up, please? Brasani Abdurrahman, you can try to. Brasani Abdurrahman. Ahmad Adnan Uthman, you can also try to unmute yourself if we are not having Brasani.
Assalamu alaikum wa ta'ala wa barakatuh. Sani Abdurrahman from Brinike.
Please, just a minute, please.
Okay, I just got this link, not quite long. I haven't thought the time of the one, but alhamdulillah, I was able to also link up to. So inshallah, we're also trying to encourage our member on this very important program that will help the youth of our lives, the Jamaat as a nation, and the world at large, Aziz. And also some of us are also studying my institutions here in Federal Polytechnic, was Federal Polytechnic in Brendan Kebi, and those that are around Sokoto, Zamfara. Inshallah, Aziz will communicate with them and ensure that they also key into it. Assalamu alaikum wa
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Are there still comments from Ahmad Adnan Uthman?
Hello. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan for this organized program. We thank Almighty Allah and Huzur Agdas who has graciously approved this. Considering the fact that Huzur has actually said that this program should be held at Ojokoro, I don't know, is the Majlis seen to the peculiarity of our problems down here in the north, considering the fact that our roads are no longer safe and the economy also is not that good, to consider transporting people down there at those intervals? So I want the Majlis to see if there could be some way they can help out with this. It's not as if we want to flaunt the orders of the Huzur or his suggestions or something, but let us know if there are anything that you are putting in place for us so that we can also take advantage of this opportunity. Jazakumullah khairan.
Jazakumullah khairan. Your comment is well noted, inshallah. Your comment is well noted, inshallah, and it will be addressed in because of time. I'll hand over back to the missionary in charge, Sahib, who will make his final comments and round off the program. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakumullah Ahsanul Jaza for all the participants, and Jazakallah again, respected Sadr Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya and all team and all Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya. And we pray, we have started today the holy month of Ramadan, the month of acceptance of prayers, the month of spiritual development, and the month of physical development. So I pray to Allah the Almighty that may Allah the Almighty accept your effort, because your efforts have also started with the month of holy month of Ramadan. And may Allah the Almighty make your effort fruitful, and you will be having very good fruits and very good trained members of Khuddam from this program. May Allah the Almighty be with all of us. Jazakumullah wa ahsanul jaza. Let us go for the closing prayer now. Join me in closing prayer. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Ameen. Jazakumullah wa ahsanul jaza.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah Sadasa.
That's a big sorry. The Wakara is still written on his hands. I didn't know.
I think he's gone now. Inshallah, we can always communicate with him, since we will always still. Let's tell Sada to get back to him. So whatever the comments are, we can note them, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Nari takbir.
And that's Barakalakum.
Sorry. Ṣé Sada ti ní ká máa lọ? Sada ṣàbṣàdé máa lọlé. A gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ń bá ìṣáájú Sada rẹ̀. Ṣé Sada ti ní ká máa lọlé?
Àtẹni kẹ máa lọlé ilé kọ́lẹ̀ wà lásàrò.
Ilé kọ́ la wà o.
NSSI, Assalamu. The program has already ended, however,
Can we stop the recording, please? We can stop the recording. Then we should end the event.
Jazakumullah khairan.
Recording stopped.
The host should end the meeting.